Alright, just wanted to bring you along. Here's an old IEL AB. This is made out of two saws. I got a reply from a fella. He bought a piece of property and there was this saw sitting on, not this 100% of the saw, there was a saw sitting on a rock pile on a fence line, the farm he bought. He was told it was there over 50 years. It was locked right up. It had this shroud on it, the back cylinder shroud that's hard to find, this, your bar bolts, your clamp, etc. Locked up solid, but all the hard to find parts were on it. So I made a purchase off him, and Bruce Johnson, I've done some work on saws for him. He gave me a really good block. It was all painted black. It had the rear handle and that on it. Didn't have this on it. Had the shroud, missing a bunch of stuff. Anyway, I asked him, like, do you have one? I want to build one. Told him what I was up to. So he graciously helped. Bruce is a fantastic guy, great guy to deal with. Anyway, so I built one of the two. I'm still missing a piece to make the recoil work. I've got one on the way from a friend. Underneath here, they have an emergency rope start. So you just wrap the rope around there. That's what we're going to use today. They're a really hard, cantankerous thing to start. There's the original manual. Not from this saw, but for this saw. So in order to get them start, they want you to fill it up. Grab this lever. I'm not sure if it's going to show. They want you to tip it to the right, heavy, to flood the carburetor. Once it's filled up, tip it up like this for 20 seconds, then tip it back upright because there's no choke on it, and all you're doing is essentially dumping gas into the motor and hoping you haven't dumped too much gas into the motor and flooded it. The kill switch is literally take this throttle and instead of pulling up, pushing down, and it closes the flap off. So if they're not drawing in any air anywhere, it just starves them for air and they'll quit. They want you to have the high-speed jet open to 1.5 turn to start it, so I'm just going to check that now. There's half, there's 1.5. There's your sediment bowl. You can see there's no fuel on it yet. These had a bad habit of leaking on these fittings. So we're going to fill it up right now, see if it'll start. Like I said, I built one out of two. These are really cantankerous to start. But we'll take you along for it and see how it goes. I've cleaned the carburetor. It's got good spark. It looks like a new plug, but it isn't. It's just one I've got laying around. Hopefully it'll work. It shows spark, but sometimes they get a bit fouled and they just make it a bear to start. So now you turn on this sediment bowl. Hopefully gas will come through. Yep, here she comes. Filling up the sediment bowl. Looks a bit murky, but it's hard to tell. Waiting to see if any of these fuel lines leak. Don't look to be. Oh, also these saws were blue. I haven't erased the original one. This is just one I wanted to put together to save, like, you know, one more built out of two. They're disappearing. They're old saws. It's IEL's second one-man saw. And I didn't want to go to all the work of painting it. Everything that's bare aluminum right now should have been blue. You have seen them before, anybody that watches my channel. And the black should be a red. I just put black paint on. They're all metal parts just to protect them. So it looks like everything's sealed up there. Let's tip the handle to the right, like they say. They say to wait for about 20 seconds. And then they want you to tip it forward. Bad thing about this pulley is you don't get much rope wound around it, so you don't get much of a pull. Let's give her a whirl. Not even a sign of life there. And like I say, these were cantankerous old bugger. It would have been nice if the recoil had worked. But we're going to have to wait for that. There's not the way to start it. Hopefully the fuel bowl's filling up. Alrighty, so it's not even offering to fire. That's 4 pulls. It should have. I'll bring you back if I get it started, alright? There I shut off by pushing down on that. So after I turned off the camera, I give it, I'd say at least 10 pulls. It was severely flooded. So my fault. I just didn't think you would want to sit there and watch me pull and pull and pull. Never know if these old girls are cantankerous, like, you know, you just don't know how much gas you're dumping in. By literally tipping the handle, getting the flood and pour it in, I think you'd be better off to just tip the saw up and give it a squirt of gas in the end of the carb. It's just they never had a choke for them. Anyway, there you go. Built out of 2 saws, been sitting on a rock pile. So that's another one saved. Like I say, waiting for the piece to work the actual recoil. After I got it started, before I turned the camera back on, obviously I put that back on. Anyway, just thought I'd use it, enjoy it. As soon as I get the last of the pieces, hopefully be going down the road to some collector that's been looking for one. At least it'll be a complete one. If he wants to do it the original colors, there's not going to be any stripping of paint. It's already gone. You got a bit of black paint to take off and do the burgundy color. Anyway, take care. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now. One more little thing I wanted to add. If you do severely flood them, in the book it shows you, and that's what I had to do. Like right under there where my finger's pointing, sorry. It's a drain valve for the crankcase. I had to open that up. Just open up and let the excess gas out. That goes to show you how cantankerous they were. Until you got used to like literally tipping it like I just did. Probably flooded again. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Bye for now.